I have exited Discovery. I'm a free agent.
What?
Between 2002 and 2012, getting Gas Monkey Garage off the ground was anything but easy. Rawlings poured every dollar he had into the business, working out of a no-frills garage with no air conditioning, no running water, and barely enough tools. He struggled to find skilled mechanics, track down the right parts, and even keep the lights on. Every project was a financial gamble. Every customer had to be earned. During that time, he also began pitching the idea for a car restoration show, not just for gearheads, but for families, kids, anyone who enjoyed a story with horsepower. Most networks passed, calling it too niche or too risky. So Rawlings kept pushing the brand by hitting the road, attending car shows, meetups, and building his name one handshake at a time. By the time Discovery finally said yes in 2012, the Gas Monkey name already carried weight in the car world. When Fast and Loud premiered on June 6, 2012, nobody could have predicted that a modest Dallas garage would become a global brand. But Rawlings was suddenly everywhere. The show became a hit in over 200 countries, translated into 13 languages. Rawlings, once just a guy running a garage, was now a globally recognized face. The concept was simple but compelling. He and his team hunted down forgotten classic cars, most in terrible condition, and brought them back to life before flipping them for profit. But the show stood out for its tone. While other car shows leaned into heavy drama or stayed too niche, Fast and Loud aimed wide. Rawlings described it as something everyone could enjoy, from kids to grandparents. It wasn't just another restoration show. It was fun, fast-paced, and welcoming. That broad appeal worked. Viewers got hooked on the energy, the cars, and the transformations. But the real turning point came when Rawlings used the show's success to expand far beyond television. He launched Gas Monkey restaurants, clothing lines, energy drinks, tequila, vodka, and more. The garage remained the heart of the brand. But by 2020, Rawlings had built a full-blown business empire. Even after the show ended on June 8, 2020, after 16 seasons and 155 episodes, the brand was stronger than ever. At the core of Fast and Loud's success was what Rawlings called his cash money formula. It was all about buying smart and selling smarter. He'd crisscross the country hunting for classic cars in rough shape, often carrying large sums of cash to make quick deals on the spot. As he once said, you can always buy a $10,000 car for $5,000 if you've got it in your pocket. That wasn't just a catchy TV line. It was a way he operated. One of the best examples was a Dodge Challenger he bought for just over $40,000. After investing $77,000 into the restoration, it sold for $150,000, earning a $73,000 profit. It wasn't luck. It was smart instincts, sharp negotiation, and a deep understanding of what buyers wanted. Another thing that set Rawlings apart was his willingness to take big risks. He often bought vehicles most wouldn't touch, rusted-out shells, cars with frame damage, even exotics with major mechanical failures. His own team sometimes doubted his decisions. One time, he bought a supercar for $400,000 that had serious issues after a previous owner's failed attempt. Still, Gas Monkey turned it around and sold it for a major profit. These high-stakes flips became a signature of the show. They weren't just moneymakers. They were packed with tension, drama, and real challenges. Every car had a story, every build a risk. Not all of them turned out perfect, and not every sale made money. But that was part of the show's charm. It gave viewers an honest look at the ups and downs of car restoration. Over 8 seasons, Fast and Loud became one of Discovery Channel's most successful reality shows. By season 4, it had hit its stride with tighter deadlines, unexpected problems, and last-minute repairs that kept viewers guessing. But in 2020, Rawlings made a major move. On the Joe Rogan Experience, he announced he was parting ways with Discovery. The reason? Control. Rawlings wanted more freedom to take his brand in new directions without being tied down by rigid contracts. It was a risky step, but it opened new opportunities. Since leaving television, Rawlings has kept growing his brand through YouTube, social media, and new business ventures. In 2013, he made a bold leap beyond cars with the launch of the first Gas Monkey Bar and Grill in Northwest Dallas. Located on the site of the old Firewater Bar and Grill, the 19,000-square-foot space was part music venue, part restaurant, and all Gas Monkey attitude. It could hold up to 1,200 people. Rawlings brought in heavy hitters to run the operation, including Alex Mendancer from the House of Blues Las Vegas and culinary manager David Hollister. 2 days before the official launch, Texas rock band Old 97s played the first live show there. By March 2014, Rawlings expanded again, this time into Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport with a second Gas Monkey Bar and Grill in Terminal D. It was a smart move. Now travelers at one of the busiest airports in the country could grab a drink, hear some live music, and get a taste of the Gas Monkey lifestyle. He even spoke about launching a third location outside Texas. Later that same year, Rawlings opened Gas Monkey Live, a massive 38,000-square-foot concert venue across the street from the original bar and grill. It had room for 3,000 people and took over the former site of Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill. With these ventures, Rawlings showed he wasn't just building a business. He was creating a culture. From racing records to reality TV to restaurants and music halls, Richard Rawlings had taken his Gas Monkey vision far beyond the garage. On opening night, punk rock legend Social Distortion took the stage at Gas Monkey Live, kicking off a wave of high-energy shows and big crowds. From there, the venue attracted massive acts and high-profile events, including one of its most memorable nights in November 2014, when Motley Crue performed a free concert as part of their All Bad Things Must End tour. The event, called Dodge Rocks Gas Monkey, was exclusive to Dodge vehicle owners and doubled as a showcase for the brand's latest models like the Charger SRT Hellcat and Challenger SRT Hellcat. The night was a blend of speed, sound, and spectacle. Gas Monkey Live also hosted VIP parties, private events, and corporate functions, with green rooms and flexible spaces that made it more than just a music venue. Despite its early success, the venue couldn't survive the financial pressures brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic and permanently closed in May 2020, marking the end of Richard Rawlings' ambitious move into live entertainment. Still, his momentum didn't slow. In 2014, the same year the venue opened, Rawlings became Dodge's national spokesperson, his face soon appearing everywhere in commercials where he promoted the brand's performance and style. One of the highlights of that partnership was the Dodge Rocks Gas Monkey concert, a perfect collision of his love for cars, music, and marketing. As his profile in the auto world grew, Rawlings ventured into the energy drink industry in 2019, not by building a company from scratch, but by licensing the Gas Monkey brand. The strategy allowed him to control the image while avoiding production costs. Gas Monkey Energy launched with 2 flavors, regular and light, focusing on speed, power, and clean ingredients. By January 2025, a third flavor, tropical, was added, blending mango, passion fruit, pineapple, lemon, and honey, and avoiding high fructose corn syrup or artificial additives. The brand matched Rawlings' bold, fast-paced lifestyle and appeared in convenience stores and major motorsport events like the Indianapolis 500 and NHRA races. While his professional life soared, Rawlings' personal life faced challenges. His first marriage to Karen K. Grahams in 1993 lasted less than a year, long before fame found him. Little is known about Karen, and the marriage quietly ended in 1994. In 1999, he married Suzanne Marie Merrill in Las Vegas during the early rise of Gas Monkey Garage. The business flourished, but the strain of success weighed on the relationship, and they divorced in 2009. Surprisingly, the two reunited in 2015 and remarried in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, but the second try also failed. In March 2019, Rawlings announced on Twitter that they had separated again, explaining that the decision was mutual. Suzanne walked away with a $300,000 settlement and a Mercedes SL 450 Roadster. Despite 2 divorces from the same woman, Rawlings spoke respectfully of their time together. After that came Katerina Dazen, previously married to Texas billionaire Darwin Dazen. In 2019, shortly after his split from Suzanne, Richard began dating Katerina. Things moved fast. He proposed in August 2019 at the Beach Hulam Resort in Mexico with a beach filled with rose petals, calling her his soulmate on social media. They married on June 28, 2020, in a small ceremony in Key West, Florida, after COVID-19 forced them to cancel a larger wedding in Greece. Katerina's transition, from billionaire circles to reality TV fame, was dramatic, but it seemed to suit her. However, in 2018, trouble erupted behind the scenes of the Gas Monkey brand. Gas Monkey Bar and Grill filed a $6 million defamation lawsuit against Rawlings, accusing him of trying to sever ties with his partners through deceitful tactics. The 47-page lawsuit claimed their relationship had soured as early as 2013. Former employee Tim Hinckley described Rawlings' behavior as abusive and likened him to a spoiled 13-year-old. Tensions grew so high that Rawlings was reportedly banned from the construction site. After the bar opened later that year, problems persisted. Rawlings allegedly disrupted operations and tried to override decisions, creating a toxic work environment. In 2015, he accused a managing partner of hiding financial records. When invited to review the documents in person, Rawlings refused and instead claimed the records didn't exist, a serious allegation implying fraud. The conflict between Richard Rawlings and his former partners escalated dramatically in 2015. On July 18th of that year, Daniel Flaherty reminded Rawlings in an email that he had always been welcome to audit the bar's financial records. That email would later become a critical piece of evidence in court. Rawlings eventually apologized for his behavior, blaming it on drinking, but the damage had already been done. The lawsuit claimed his actions had scared away vendors and business partners, while his public accusations tarnished the bar's reputation and made operations more difficult. The troubles didn't stop there. In 2017, when a potential buyer showed interest in acquiring the Gas Monkey Bar brand, Rawlings once again stepped in with more accusations of financial mismanagement, derailing the deal. This incident became another major element in the ongoing legal battle. Then, in 2019, Rawlings launched a counterattack. On March 28 at 2:15 p.m., he filed a $1 million countersuit for copyright infringement, alleging that the bar continued to use the Gas Monkey name and logos after the licensing agreement had expired in late 2018. His legal team argued that the rights had not been renewed, yet the bar persisted in using the brand. The situation grew even more intense as Rawlings claimed the brand was being used to promote lewd and sexually suggestive events, damaging both his image and intellectual property. Just a month prior, on February 25th, Rawlings had issued a cease-and-desist letter demanding the bar stop using the brand within 10 days. When they failed to comply, he filed a suit. His $1 million claim was based on lost licensing revenue and devaluation of the Gas Monkey brand. By then, rumors were already circulating that the bar was in financial trouble, especially after the closure of its sister venue, Gas Monkey Live. Many believed Rawlings was trying to distance himself from a sinking ship while protecting his legacy. As the lawsuits played out, Rawlings didn't disappear from the spotlight. After the end of Fast and Loud, he launched a podcast called Monkey Trap, giving him a platform to speak directly to fans and feature guests from across industries. One notable guest was Hollywood stuntman Cord Newman, famous for setting himself on fire during a stunt. The podcast blended behind-the-scenes stories with energetic interviews and helped Rawlings maintain his public presence. Then came a bold move in September 2023. Rawlings auctioned off nearly 30 vehicles from his personal collection through Bring a Trailer, generating total sales of $1,080,093. Among the highlights were a 1962 Chevy Corvette that sold for $60,000, a 1965 Ford Mustang Fastback K-Code for $75,000, and a rare 1993 Toyota Supra that brought him $121,000, the highest sale of the auction. Rawlings explained that he was shifting away from beer-budget cars and refocusing on high-end European models. At the same time, he auctioned off a Gas Monkey Garage experience to charity, raising $16,500 for the Gas Monkey Foundation. With money in hand and space cleared out, Rawlings began rebuilding his collection. He announced a new focus on Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and vintage European cars, particularly models from the 1970s and 1980s. A standout moment came during a trip to Ireland, where he purchased 5 Ferrari Testarossas, including one that had been converted into an electric vehicle and later showcased at SEMA 2023. By early 2024, Rawlings had already reinvested over $1 million into his new direction. He wasn't just changing what he drove, he was reinventing himself. From messy lawsuits to a refined high-end car collection, Richard Rawlings continues to evolve. Whether you admire or criticize him, one thing remains certain. Rawlings knows how to stay in the spotlight. After years of speculation, Richard Rawlings is finally revealing the truth behind the rumors that have followed him for years. The fast and loud star has come clean about a dark secret that helps explain the collapse of his marriages, the sudden sale of his car collection, and why Discovery canceled his hit show. At 55, Rawlings is ready to talk about the $6 million legal battle that turned his life upside down, and it's even more shocking than fans imagined. Born on March 30th, 1969, in a working-class neighborhood of Fort Worth, Texas, Rawlings grew up surrounded by cars. One of his earliest photos shows him as a small boy in a pedal-powered Volkswagen Beetle, his first taste of what would become a lifelong obsession. While other kids watched cartoons on Saturday mornings, Richard was out at 3 a.m. delivering newspapers with his dad. After school, he'd do it all again, and on weekends, he collected payments, taking note of every car in every driveway. He memorized makes, models, and years, impressing customers with how much he knew. His father, despite working multiple jobs, always made time for one indulgence, a car or motorcycle. That value of owning something special stuck with Richard. By age 14, he bought his first car, a green 1974 Mercury Comet, paid for with savings from his newspaper roots. He was already driving, albeit not legally, and soon became known for burning rubber in the school parking lot. Despite its color, that car was his pride and joy. By his senior year in 1987, he was on his third car, a black 1977 Bandit Transom that made him the unofficial car guy at Eastern Hills High School. He wasn't just showing off. He was flipping cars, buying, fixing, and selling about 20 vehicles before graduation. It laid the foundation for his future empire, but his passion nearly cost him everything. In the early 90s, while driving a 1965 Ford Mustang Fastback, Richard was carjacked in a rough Fort Worth neighborhood. He fought back and took a bullet through the shoulder that traveled down his arm. Instead of turning away from car culture, the experience only made him more determined. Before his rise to fame, between 1988 and 1990, Richard wore 3 uniforms: police officer, firefighter, and paramedic, before he was even 21. Following his father's advice to find a stable job, he briefly pursued a career in law enforcement. A chance encounter at a bar with a local mayor helped him enroll in the North Texas Police Academy. He served in Alvarado as a cop, then as a firefighter in Coppell, learning how to stay calm in crisis, skills that would serve him later in business. But by age 25, he needed a change. He sold everything, bought a Jeep, and moved to California to start over. 6 months later, broken with a Jeep repossessed, he returned to Texas with tattoos, pierced ears, and nothing to his name. Living on his sister's couch, he realized he had to create something for himself. In 1999, he launched Lincoln Press, a printing and advertising company in Dallas, despite having no background in printing. With a $100,000 small business loan and a deep understanding of branding, Rawlings built the company into a success. By 2004, he was offering a Lamborghini Gallardo to the first client to spend $1 million with the company, a stunt that worked. After selling Lincoln Press, he used the proceeds to pursue his true dream, building cars. In 2002, he launched Gas Monkey Garage in Dallas. The shop was modest, no running water or air conditioning, but Rawlings had passion and vision. He and his small crew hit the road, attending car shows and trade events to build the Gas Monkey brand. In May 2007, Rawlings and his friend Dennis Collins set out to break the legendary Cannonball Run record, driving coast to coast from New York to Los Angeles as fast as possible. The original 1979 record was 32 hours and 51 minutes. Skipping a planned rally route, they aimed directly at the record, driving a modified Ferrari 550 Maranello outfitted with extra fuel tanks to minimize stops. Leaving Manhattan under the cover of darkness, they launched into a mission that would become a defining chapter in Rawlings' high-octane life. They reached the Portofino Inn in Redondo Beach just 31 hours and 59 minutes after leaving New York. They had done it. Richard Rawlings and Dennis Collins had broken a record that had stood for 28 years, averaging 87.6 miles per hour across 2,811 miles. Not everyone believed it at first. Some questioned the route or how it compared to the original Cannonball Run. But controversy aside, the feat stood out. It was bold, dangerous, and real enough to earn Rawlings a personal nod from Jay Leno. That moment meant more than most realize. Jay Leno isn't just a car enthusiast. He's a car guy, With a garage full of rare and classic vehicles, a deep knowledge of the industry, and immense respect from the automotive community. For Leno to recognize Rawlings wasn't just casual praise. It was a powerful stamp of approval. And at the time, it came years before Fast and Loud would make Rawlings a household name.